case result that you can see is final non-confirmation. That means that the employee is not authorized to work. In that case, their employment may be terminated without legal consequences to you. If you decide not to terminate them, and you, of course, have to let the Department of Homeland Security know what your decision is, then that gives them rebuttable premise that they have, that you have employed an illegal alien. So that would look negatively on you as an employer. You can also get back as a final case result DHS no-show. That means that the employee contested their TNC with the DHS. They had the 8 work days to go in and contest the results, and they didn't go. Again, their employment may be terminated if you get this. Those are the 3 final case results. There is one more. As we spoke about earlier, if we entered some information wrong and it still got to that point, it will say close case or resubmit. So you just have to go back through the process again and resubmit that I-9 information and just verify that you've entered the correct information so that it will go through again. So they do allow for human error. Once you receive your final case results, you can close the case through E-Verify. After that, it asks you if the employee is still employed with you. It's just a little radio button that says yes or no. And then once you have closed the case and answered the questions, they give you a verification number. And it is usually a long number. I think it's 12 or 14 characters. You can either record that case number on the I-9 form or print out and record that in their file. If you want more information on this topic, there's a lot of information to be had at the E-Verify website. They have webinars that are free, they have the tutorial, and they have a lot of other information for the employers who are interested in starting this process. And it's very easy to use and very easy to read. They also have a toll-free number and an email address that you can use to contact them with questions that you have for them. I've also included in the presentation the link to the final text of the legislation so that everyone can read the legislation and know what it says. And then the final piece of information that we have here is my contact information. As I said earlier, I am the person at the county who processes our E-Verify verifications. We've been doing it for about 4 months now, and I've not had any problems with it. It's very quick. It adds a couple of minutes to my new hire I-9 process, and we have not had any problems with it to date. Do you have questions for me? I'm happy to answer them. Yes, ma'am?
And because I do payroll for different companies, if one company needed to set up this E-Verify, can I do that for them, or is that something they have to do within their office?
I believe that they would have to do that within their office because it would have to be signed by somebody in their agency, so that they could be the employer of record for that. So that way, if there were any problems or there was a complaint of non-compliance, then it would not come back on your company, it would go on theirs.
But should you be like a user? They were the main one authorized, but they put her on as a user?
They could do that. They could do that. If you were contracting through them, they could set you up as a user. If they did not want to do it there, then they could set up a corporate administrator and set you up as a user.
Is it easy to change the name of that person, like if the person no longer works with you, the user, and the general administrator?
You could delete that account and then just go in and create a new one for the next person, so you wouldn't necessarily change the name, you would just create a new account for the next person. And basically all you do is, I think, set up their name and their contact information, and then E-Verify sets up their username and their initial password and sends them an email.
When an employee terminates, do you have to go in the E-Verify and terminate
No.
the employee? Just like
Once,
the I-9,
once you
cancel
close
out?
the case, then you are done. You would just do your I-9 process for a termination like you would normally do.
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
On that last slide, the numbers and the dates, if a company grows or exceeds and goes from one tier to another, do they automatically have to start as soon as they hit that number, or do they just wait on that next?
I would say that once you hit that number, then you would need to go ahead and participate in E-Verify.
What if you realize after you hit submit, you made an error with maybe the spelling of the name or date of birth, just, you realize it, and then I guess that would also prompt Homeland Security, but
It could. I have done that because I'm not the world's best typist. And it will tell me that the information does not match, and it will ask me to go back to the employee information screen and double check with the I-9 form. So it won't make you wait the 3 days to do that. I think that this would be if the employee had given you a different name that did not match what was in the Department of Homeland Security's information, then this would be what prompted that. But a typographical error, they would allow you to go back in and correct that.
Let's say that you do get a thing back and you can't take any adverse action like you said, but what if it's like a name issue? They're giving you a name, but then E-Verify says, no, that doesn't match. What name do you use then? The name they give you, or?
You always use the name that's on file with the Social Security Administration. And that is something, that's one of our policies, that when an employee does get married or get divorced and they change their name, we don't process that change until we see that their Social Security card has been changed. So we're sure that our information matches theirs, because there can be a penalty for that at tax time as well. But I would say that you would definitely go for whatever name was reported through the Social Security Administration. Because if they happen to check on their tax form too, that their name doesn't match, then you would be in trouble for that as well. So there would be a fine there as well.
I do have one more.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking, if I were an employer of 25 or more, so now I would be deemed necessary that I have to be in compliance with this. But what's the reason that this law is not in effect, that you do this before you hire them? Because I was thinking, after training a person and going through and setting them up in a work atmosphere,
You
and
can't
if it is,
you can't do it before you hire them, because that could be considered discrimination because of their ethnicity.
I see.
So you have to give them an offer and you have to bring them in before you do that. Just like completing the I-9 form, you're not allowed to complete that I-9 form until you bring them in. Because if you did, they could go and say, well, you're discriminating against them because of their race or their ethnicity. Because you're not necessarily supposed to have that information before they come in. And that's all that I have for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Crystal, that was excellent. Thank you. And Pam, thank you for making the arrangements. I hope that this has been beneficial to you.